I'd like to welcome you to our workshop. Hannah Cleverly is here from Emergency Management with a presentation. Hannah.
Hi guys. So I'm Hannah Cleverly. I'm the Deputy Director of Emergency Management for Grays Harbor County. What we're kind of doing, it's been a full year within our interlocal agreement, and I wanted to just kind of take a little bit of your time to kind of recap a little bit of what emergency management and the city of Cosmopolis has been up to from the emergency management standpoint of things. So what you'll see throughout here, in which so how many alerts we send, and this right here is just our advisories, watches, and warnings. So a lot of times there are other ones that are issued, so like there's frost, there's dense fog ones. Those ones aren't captured necessarily on here, but it just kind of captures how busy, and you can see kind of where our busy season is particularly just by on the natural hazards of the weather alerts. Next slide. So for us, we'll take it back month by month. I'll do my best not to read each slide because that can get tedious and boring. But for here, just to kind of recap our January through February, you can see some of the pictures from the National Weather Service on the side. February was when we had some great snow. I'm a snow person, I love it. I'm sorry to all the public works people. I do love a good snow. So February, we had some good snow in the lowlands here within Grays Harbor County. And then we also ran into multiple wind advisories, flood watches, warnings, etc. One of the other pieces to highlight is in February of 22, we had the Grays Harbor County jail fire, which I put this on here because it was a significant event within the county. And I say in particularly for our law enforcement partners and our fire partners, because this was even though it was in one facility, it was a complex incident because of the clientele, customers, what's the appropriate word? Customers, clientele, inmates, yeah, because of how that because that jail is housing those people. So on that day, at around 9 o'clock, as many of you know, a fire broke out in the jail, which required eventual evacuation of 107 inmates. Why that's significantly important was because the sheriff's office is only so big, right? And with our corrections and our patrol, multiple agencies from around the county came in and supported this incident. And what I wanted to highlight is a great work done by our law enforcement partners and our first responder, our fire partners. And one of them didn't get the, hey, can you come and help us? They saw it on their on the 911 call, and they responded to help out. We had police chiefs from around the county watching inmates as they had been evacuated to separate locations, and so it is a great show of why Grays Harbor can have wonderful successes and incidences because of our partnerships around the county. So I wanted to highlight that a little bit for February. Next slide. Getting into January and kind of like our ILA part of things. In January, we had kickoff meetings with all of our ILA cities, which is awesome. It was a really great opportunity for us to sit down with some, in Kazi's time, we sat down with Mayor and in there, and we kind of went through what the priorities were for the city. One of the things that was felt that the first big push was to get the comprehensive emergency management plan annexed, developed, and then adopted. But through that meeting, we kind of worked out some other important things that the city has for the emergency preparedness and emergency management side of things. So we were busy in January with all of those meetings. Go ahead, next one. Again, we had the jail fire, and I kept in the Seabrook Town Hall there piece of it because I wanted to highlight the opportunity for public outreach. So our office does a lot of public outreach throughout the county. One of these pieces, this was an invitation from the town, the residents of Seabrook, that they wanted some more tsunami information. So we kind of put together a town hall of sorts, and we invited, there was probably over 30, 40 so highlighting that in our year review also shows us that those opportunities for you guys are also available as well. Next slide. March bring us, March through July, sorry, I forgot that we had a weird timeline there. March through July gave us a lot of fun opportunities. We kind of gear up to our public outreach summer, where we do a lot of public outreach events. We happen to have our Emergency Preparedness Expo, which is always a big hit. It's in Aberdeen, down there at the Tractor Supply, or Old Bushcombe Mall, or we choose locations, or we have historically chosen locations through Grace Harbor County that have had significant other names. So when we were at the mall, it was the Shops at Riverside was the appropriate name, the official name, but it, just the old mall or the old JCPenney or Kmart or whatever it was. We always try and find locations, and I'm being facetious, we always try and find locations that have multiple different names throughout the years for residents. So anyways, our expo is again coming this year. It's going to be July 25th. It's that Saturday. And this is it's an awesome opportunity that we get to speak with community members. We have a hard time capturing how many people we get, but from our rough estimates, we see over 40, we see over 40 people. Woo! God damn, no. We see over 400 people that come to the expo. And we have over 40 vendors. So it's a really cool event. That we're able to provide some preparedness info. We have a dung tape that individuals over on that table there participate in, which is great. And not long after that did we have our tsunami watch, first then turned into a tsunami advisory, which was a 30-hour, or which was it was probably an 18-hour event, which the process for when we have tsunami advisories or any type of tsunami event is Grace Harbor County Emergency Management holds a conference call every hour virtually on Zoom, and still working out things on the size of those where we have updates. And fortunately for us, for this tsunami advisory, while it was a long duration event, we did not sustain any damage within Grace Harbor County, but we did have, there was our largest, I would say the largest wave that we saw in Washington coast was at 1.3 feet, which for these tsunami advisories, we've seen that they are more and more becoming a maritime impact and like right on the coastal impacts. A tsunami advisory or a tsunami warning is a whole nother bag of tricks and hazards that we have not experienced recently. But we have had a pretty active, since I started in 2018, we've had a few of them. So, next slide. Another thing that we highlight is our Emergency Operations Center training. So, Kim, you were able to come to our last one this year, but it's an opportunity we take quarterly to introduce our public safety partners, our elected officials, anyone that could potentially come to the Emergency Operations Center in Montesano and support, or want to learn more on how the Emergency Operations Center works and operates. So we are holding quarterly training. We had ours in March and then kind of fell off, but we just got to do another one last month. We had one, so and thank you for attending. We appreciate that. Next slide. In April, we brought the tsunami hazard briefing, which was an opportunity, which I think Mayor Springer, you came to that one, which that was a hazard estimate on estimated loss and economic and casualty loss from a Cascadia subduction zone earthquake. So we have seen all of the mapping that we've created, or I have not created those. I'm not a seismologist or seismologist, any of those, but we have received the mapping from the Washington Geological Survey on our impacts through tsunami. What this next, presentation was what is the economic impact to Grays Harbor County, and then what is the casualty? So what are the lives lost? And unfortunately for us in Grays Harbor County, that briefing led to over a $20 million loss in infrastructure, which my opinion is going to be much more than that, and about 60% loss of population. So yeah, it's a grim picture. It was a hard one to receive that information. It's also the reason why we continue to do a lot of outreach to get those done and trying to bridge the gap between a local agency or jurisdiction that can't financially have, like Ocean Shores, for example, needs like 8 vertical evacuation structures. At a low end, they're anywhere from $6 to $12 million a piece. And as a city, as you know, that match alone from a federal government is incredible. So we're trying to work with the state legislature, the EMD, and FEMA to try and bridge that gap. And try and eliminating that so that we can make these things possible. Because not everyone has the luxury of hills in their community. So Cosmopolis has a great topography when it comes to the tsunami hazard, that you have the vertical naturally versus through a building. So wanted to highlight that part of it. We also have, you can see up in that top right picture is one of our amateur radio volunteers. That's George Stone. He is a retired firefighter from Aberdeen, but he is one of our ham radio operators, and we took a moment through our busy day to really appreciate some of our volunteers. That we have a ham radio group that is pretty active. We have an emergency operations center group, so people that necessarily aren't ham radio operators, but they want to come and help in the emergency operations center. You can work with our office and we can make you a volunteer. And then most recently, I would say probably in the last, since our event, we were able to get a search and rescue group back. So our last search and rescue group had disbanded, but we have a group of individuals. There's probably about 15 of them now. So it's Grays Harbor Volunteer Search and Rescue. So our Grays Harbor Search and Rescue, and so they came to our expo last year, and they'll be there again. So they're a great group of people. So next slide.
Can I interject with a clarifying question? Sorry, are you folks hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Sorry, I am getting just a little bit of a lag in the online chat, so it does kind of cut out very briefly. Apologies if you've already addressed this. Did I hear correctly that you're assessing a 60,000 population impact in the event of a tsunami?
60% of our population is what, yes, percent.
And when you say, population, there, are you referring to like a residency impact or a mortality impact? What is it, 60% of?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, that's my question. Is 60% referring to like mortality, residency? What are we talking about exactly?
Yep. So with this study that they utilized a summer day. So they did take some tourist population into it, but majority of their data was off of residential. And that, if you look at the impacts of our tsunami inundation zone, and I'm more than happy to send some data out to you guys if you have further questions. You may email me and I can send that out. But what the assessment essentially was, actually, I have it on my phone. Hold on one second. Let me give you the correct numbers. Let me find it. I
60%
So they presented a couple of different, they presented statewide for that, and they presented also for, and when they talk about casualties, they're talking about deaths and injuries collectively. But for Grays Harbor County, they are, the total population that they have, permanent and non-permanent, they roughly, in the tsunami inundation zone, again, taking just based off of evacuation times, departure times. So with the Cascade Subduction Zone, it's a large 9.0 earthquake, which is anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes of shaking. So for those of us that were in the Nisqually earthquake, that is going to have its 25th year here at the end of the month, which don't even get me started on it being 25 years. I'm so sorry for dating all of us. That has a minute of shaking. So, and the SATSUB one was even a little bit less than that. So 3 to 5 minutes of shaking is quite a long time. But so if people depart their place to higher ground or vertical evacuation, within 10 minutes, this data is estimating 29,506 casualties. Within 15 minutes, it's 31,000, and then 20-minute departure time, it's 34,000 plus. So overall, between that's 46 to 54% of our population will have casualties. So, which is a hard pill to swallow. Our partners down to the south in Pacific County have an even a little bit of an even dire picture. So that's why we continue to do a lot of education and outreach on go bags, knowing your safety routes, having communications plans. So did that answer your question? I apologize for having to pull that data up.
It did, thank you. Is that someplace we can find it easily online?
Yeah, it should be on the Washington EMD, Washington Emergency Management Division website. But if you want to just shoot me an email, we can connect and I can send you that data.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next slide. Oh wait, no, stay in this one, sorry. No, next one, sorry. Wait, no, no, go back, sorry, didn't go. So highlighting June, which was a big month for all of us, is that the city of Cosmopolis adopted the CEMP annex. So, and the comprehensive emergency management plan in its entirety. So that brought us up to compliance. So now you guys have your own annex that has specific roles and responsibilities. It is in addition to our comprehensive emergency management plan in its entirety. So all of that together makes a good base plan on emergency response and preparedness. Go ahead, next one. We talked a little bit about that already, so you can keep going. Like I said, our summers are pretty busy. We do a lot of outreach groups. Our office is small, so there was only 3 of us at the time, but now we have a 4th person, which is awesome. So we're able to divide and conquer as much as we possibly can. But we went to a couple national night outs. We went to Badges and Brews in Elma, which our local Starbucks also usually does one as well. And it's a good opportunity for us to just meet the community, and it's another outreach event that we speak to them and they get to learn some more information on preparedness. Yeah, go next one. And you go to the next one. I'm definitely. Oh, go back for one more second. So I wanted to highlight this part here. So Westport Tsunami and Storm Ready, it's a National Weather Service piece, and I believe CAUSE is also Storm Ready and Tsunami Ready community. So when that application comes up, we'll work with you guys to make sure that we get that. I should look over here. We'll make sure that we work together to make sure that that application is submitted and no time's elapsed. So
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, next one. Screwed up. But anyways, we had another undetermined tsunami danger in September. You're seeing more of these undetermined because, well, it's a big question that we've talked in our world is why are we doing undetermined instead of a tsunami watch, right? What is the difference of it? And because an undetermined essentially has that same meaning. An earthquake has a happen, and we are determining the threat. For now, we'll just say for now, we are going to continue. They're going to continue to use the undetermined tsunami threat, which is kind of us in a holding pattern at that point. In September, during this one, we happen to we get everything ready. We get emails already pulled up, ready to rock and roll and push send if something actually pulls out. If it goes for an extended amount of time, then we will send our conference call information out and jump on one and just give the update of what we can.
So, and I just want to add, previous one, the all-nighter one, that you were up all night, the chief and I were on all night. I would go lay down for an hour and come back and check in, but it was all night that you kept us updated on everything so we could be alert and ready.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Welcome. And it's one of the things that we're, I will say, there was one of the Hookuya police officers one time came on to the 7:30 briefing, and his camera or his mic wasn't muting, like, yeah, she's been here all night. She got a little loopy there for a while, but.
I think I said that too.
And actually it was Chief Valley that was like, you're not muted. He's like, it's okay, she already knows. It's like, yes. And so I did get a little loopy there for a while, but we made it through. We said, as our office was really small, Carmen was in Eastern Washington, and Stacy rode with me for about 3 o'clock. I was like, you got to go home and get some sleep, because I eventually will also need to go home and get some sleep. So, but anyways, we worked that communications process again. So we were prepared to execute that if we needed to in the September one as well. Okay, next slide. October is the Great Shakeout. We participate in some extent every year. Full disclosure, it's the worst exercise for me. It's in the worst time of the month. It's just, I can't wrap my head around it. But this year, we have vowed to probably do more of a tabletop exercise that day as more information on that will come out. It's always the 3rd. It is the only time, and I will make note, it's the only time during the year outside of an actual tsunami warning that you will hear the actual tsunami wailing sound. So it is our one chance for the population to hear it, to hear how loud they are, to hear them, but they always hear them, every randomly they hear them, which they hear the fire siren, not the tsunami sirens. So it's always a good educational piece for us. We also test our mass notification system during that time, the day before, reminding citizens that the tsunami sirens are going to actually wail. For us, and then we roll right into our busy season, which is our winter. And go ahead, next slide. We do have in October, we worked this year with Washington State Department of Transportation on doing a interagency meeting. So a lot of times before the winter really happens, we try and get all of our partners together to kind of talk about what the forecast is for or what we are maybe seeing for the weather in the upcoming season. Anything changed through Washington Department of Transportation, anything changed in emergency management, how are we responding to ice events, how are we responding to snow events, and the kind of the capabilities between, it's always interesting for me to know how much actual roads and mile roads that Wasatch has to manage and with their limited resources. So, but we hold that one. That one's open to all of our jurisdictions, including schools as well. We have a lot of our school partners come to that one. Okay, next slide. Like I said, it's just getting us into our busy season. What we're seeing is we saw a change in the polygons from the National Weather Service. So what historically used to be the cutoff of, I would say probably Junction City South, right through the line here. So half of Causey almost would get these coastal flood warnings, and the wouldn't. National Weather Service has redrawn their maps to where now you'll find that some of the coastal flood warnings or advisories won't hit Causey, even though you may have a tidal change to it. A lot of these are changing to just significant coastal alerts versus inland bay tidal changes, if that makes sense. So they changed that up earlier this year, and we really got to see it play out through November. And you can go to the next one. December, as many of you know, started off in really kicking off with a EOC, Emergency Operations Center activation to a full activation for us. So on December 8th, that Monday, we got a call from Lake Sylvia's representatives, so Washington State Park representative, that their dam, which again is owned by Washington State Parks within the city of Montesano, had hit their emergency action plan level 1. So you guys also have a dam, and we have that emergency action plan, right? And so there's certain criteria that that can be hit, and in this case, the Lake Sylvia Lake itself rose 11 feet in 12 hours. Yeah, a lot of rain. And in 48 hours, we had, and I will say this, at my house in Aberdeen, we had more than 7 inches of rain in 48 hours. So the dam hit its emergency thresholds, and on the December 8th, probably about 8 o'clock, it hit its level 3, which is the first dam in Washington State history, or at least with state parks, all the state parks, that has hit a level 3 emergency. I will say there has been a lot of work since then on language within that emergency action plan, but that kicked off a long event that really didn't stop until the December 23rd, 24th was the end of it. But we did experience countywide flooding, not as impactful as some of our other partners up in Skagit, Whatcom, and Snohomish counties, and even in King County, or Lewis County for that matter. I would say for us, we experienced moderate flooding, which every Grays Harbor County kind of resident is used to it, right? But it was significant and fun, and actually this event has brought in is probably the wrong word to use, but has had over $187 million in damages. At this point right now, it is the most costly emergency in Washington State history. So what that means for us is right now they are, in the next few days, should be submitting a request for a major disaster declaration to the president, which in hopes he signs, and therefore we are able to get some reimbursement back. Graysburg County has, just Graysburg County agencies alone have over $1 million in damages. So yeah, it was a pretty impactful one statewide. I would say Grays Harbor was fortunate that we didn't experience as much damage as we had in the past, or comparative to our other partners. That's kind of, do you have a question?
No.
Okay, next slide. You good. So overall, we had over 35 alerts that we sent out. I can go to the next slide. And so what's next for us and for the city of Kazi? So as you guys are now know, Andrea Wingo is our new program manager here for emergency management. Her job is to do a lot of planning, among everything else that our office does. But one of the pieces that we're going to be working on here, and it's our big push for 2026, is those continuity of operations, continuity of government plans. So we're going to be working on those here in the near future, so we will make sure that we have the scope and the specifics for the city, and then we'll continue to work through everything else. Public outreach. We asked anybody that has ideas or have dates already in mind of community events that you guys host, let us know, because we'd love to have a table. Yeah, that's kind of our busy year. So any questions?
No, but I do have 2 days. It'll be on National Night Out and then Festival in the Park, which we talked about last year, so.
You want to just send me in, or let me know those dates, we can get them on our calendar.
This might be a silly question, but do you work with the school districts as well
Yeah.
And the information passes on to them for the great shakeout, for the
Yep.
different deals that go on.
Yeah, so we work with the schools, they are part of when we do like those tsunami events, when there are tsunami events, they're part of that as well. We actually, ESD 13 is hosting an event up in Tumwater on the 3rd of March, so we're gonna have a table up there and we're gonna work with them. But yeah, we work with a lot of our principals and superintendents as much as we can, so.
I know we talked about this in the past when Justin and I were on that committee, and then Councilman Skinner also, we just recently had a conversation, and always thinking, what, after going to that presentation and looking at the devastation, I mean, as you said, you walked away and you're like, and so I think about that, what would we do? Well, everyone would head for the hills, and I keep thinking, we need pods, emergency pods. I even have thought of locations. I know right now, as far as FEMA and the federal government funding is, but that's something, if there's information out there, I think we're interested in it. I know Justin,
Emergency
yeah,
resources.
we've all talked about it and would like more information on,
Yeah.
to move forward and then really educate our society, our community more with like being prepared.
Definitely.
And now that we have the community center and we're doing a monthly letter, I think we can really get more of that message out.
Yeah, let's work together on making sure that we have that. I know we have, one of the things we didn't talk about, every month, myself and some other members of the office, we are on KXRO and now Johnny Manson. And so there's for us, the public. So I'm happy at any time to speak directly to Cosmopolis citizens, either on that platform or through letters or community events. If you want to host an emergency preparedness night, I'm happy to coordinate
That
that.
would be-
and
that
set
would
up.
be
That's what I was
great.
wondering, if
Yeah.
you do the workshop to
Oh, yeah.
get people,
Workshop.
how to put back the bags to get ready to
Definitely.
take, if they have to evacuate,
Yeah.
if they
And I know the
to be
chief,
ready.
the
Yeah,
chief has been
definitely,
part of this conversation. We were just talking about that. He's had some ideas too, so I think we have a pretty solid team and would love to have
Yeah.
those conversations.
Let's do it. We're here for it.
Yeah,
We love
like, I'm one of those, our little neighborhood, we kinda have it too when something happens, cause it's like, rarely do we ever lose power up on the hill.
Right.
But we did lose it once because something that's a transformer, the substation over there, so it was a complete city was out.
Right.
And the neighbors were all like, out with flashlights, check the other neighbors who were a bunch of
Yeah.
elderly folks, and I have so freeze-dried food and all that, and water extra and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So it'd be good if for some of the elderly people to,
Yeah.
or just people in general, the citizens in general, to be able to know what they should just kind of stash.
Yeah, for sure. I think those are, I will say, all of us are a little geeky. I've been told otherwise, but all of us are pretty geeky when it comes to emergency preparedness and this part of it, and we love it. We love talking about it. Carmen will not talk in a group of people. Every single time she has to get up and stand, but she will talk your ear off one-on event, and every time I'm shocked. But so we love that kind of stuff. So any opportunity that we can either schedule something, put something together, we'd love to do
And
that.
the chief had talked about, now that we have the community room, but the fire station, like, we could have it here, it's bigger, and so we've been kind of brainstorming.
Yeah.
And so, kind of bringing everybody up to date would be
Perfect.
great.
I see on your
Oh, yeah.
website, you have some really great checklists for emergency preparation. I think if we could print some of those out and provide those to citizens, or even just post them on social media or someplace more widely accessible, that would be
Definitely,
great.
we can, we have information up at our office that, whether Chief, next time you're up, whatever, we can take a look at kind of the cache and see what kind of stuff we want to bring down and put them in the community room, and they can, a preparedness for a year, or the tsunami alerts, kind of what those are. Happy to provide some information for that, so, in a place that's open for the citizens, but also take it in the next step further of doing that kind of one-on-one community event.
Yeah, this has became a community center, and seniors are using it that we can can get to them
Yeah.
is an excellent idea.
Yeah, let me know, and again, we love these kind of things, so.
Yeah, because we could even put it in as a flyer in our, utility bill too, that
Right.
comes out kind of
And
thing.
the utility, if you send me, like our police chief, he sent me a little blurb for we'll be doing a monthly letter, and it's really interesting because we talked about how to really reach every citizen, and the feedback has been so positive, and so who was two-sided, but just getting something free would be great.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Carmen used to do, a long time ago, they used to do a newsletter, like a quarterly newsletter. I haven't done that in a long time, but yeah, we're happy to provide some information for that, so.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that, aren't tech savvy, so they
Right.
even get on the computers, kind of
Yeah.
thing, so. But yeah, be good to have that information available for them, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
The workshop that you held that I went to, for a better term, that was very informative to me. I really appreciated it. I learned a lot just of what the process was to put it all, make it happen. I mean, that's quite a job up there. And each have something on a smaller scale of that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's something I think we need to work on.
Perfect, and we can definitely, and I know that training, I'm looking at Justin, he's got a full-time job, and I know that during the day, like, you can't necessarily get off work to go do it, so we can always take that training and kind of some other specific training and bring that to, Mayor, you came to our ILA training in January, February? January? I can't remember, I think it was January, gosh, it seems like last week, but it was long ago. Just kind of bringing that
My plate's really full, so Mr. Skinner or Councilman Skinner with Pro Tem Mayor, so he often steps in for me and represents the city. And so, but having something here or that would be great
Sure.
too.
Yeah, we can put something together and we can maybe come back in a couple months and.
And then the chief is at the events too, so.
My schedule's all over the place.
I know.
Any of the audience? Oh, Harry.
Hannah is here till, I told her she had 30 minutes, and then I said, hey, you actually have an hour, and she's like, what?
And but all those chiefs would can tell you that I have the gift of gab. I can stretch it for as long as I need to, but don't want to take up more time than I have to, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
So now, are the tsunami signs, are those the responsibility of the city to provide those, or do you guys have any of that you have?
Provide the signs, I should say, every year historically, as long as allow, Washington State Merchant sends out a request for signs, like, is there any agency that needs more arrows or more needs the entering tsunami zones? So those, we can request those. I think we're actually getting to that time where we might be getting into that
We
request.
ordered some last year, so
Oh, did
we
you?
do have some
Oh, you
extra
do? Okay.
ones down
Oh,
at
okay.
the shop, so
Yeah.
Okay, good.
we do have extra ones.
The only hard part is getting Public Works sometimes to place them.
Oh,
It's just a challenge.
We have a few, but I think there needs to be kind of an inventory if
Yeah.
they're like placed in the right place and,
Yeah.
where people can actually see them and, get the idea of what.
And I will tell you,
I mean,
when-
for us, it's kind of easy, you hang a left, go up, up the hill, but.
Right, right.
Away from the river, but,
we do have a sign inventory. One of the pieces, I think it was in 2019, Carmen and I drove around with one of our GIS guys at the county. We marked by GPS, kind of where the location of the sign was, what was the condition of the sign. And I will tell you, even though I had a list and we knew exactly where they were supposed to be, we missed a handful of them. We had to turn around and be like, oh, there was a sign there, because they're hard to see and they're not visually, they don't jump out at you,
No, they
which is
don't.
why you probably have seen in the last handful of years, what came out of that assessment was you have tourists coming into Grays Harbor and they have no idea of a tsunami hazard because sign that is blue and white and maybe blending in with everything else, it doesn't jump out at you. And I can't tell you the amount of people that call our office and are like, hey, every time I'm in Oregon and I go in and out of a tsunami zone, that they are telling me, I'm leaving, I'm entering, I'm leaving, I'm entering. So we developed with Washington State Emergency 9, that is orange and it's entering a tsunami zone. And as you leave, it is like gray and black. And so you guys all should have them, but we can definitely do a sign assessment.
I don't think we have those.
No, we
That would
don't
be
have,
nice to
yeah.
have that. We have that regular one.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, because the blue ones are, yeah, they kind of blend in with
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
Aberdeen has them and they've placed them and they're pretty good. So as you're going to like Hospital Hill, you can
Right.
see as you're heading up, it says leaving a tsunami inundation
Right.
zone. And then as you're entering, you
Right.
know, at the same
Yeah,
road.
that would be
So
good, yeah.
they're good visually. It's important for people to realize. So we have more work to do on it, but
Good.
happy to take that on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still doing assessments of cities where you drive through and make recommendations?
In what aspect?
Like you probably need one here or you need one there, or-
Oh,
okay.
we usually don't do it outside of like, it's a group, it's a conversation. Fair for me to be like, I think you. And so that's something that if we want to explore adding signs or maintain the signs, or if we need to replace them, happy to facilitate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think meeting with our public works and really looking at that would be great.
Perfect.
Okay, gang, you have a little bit longer. She's
Make a
probably
dance? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, you have any trivia questions? You're pretty good at
I mean,
that.
we can do Jeopardy. I mean, I can always put up the Jeopardy. That was fun. We at the interlocal agreement, in one of our trainings we did in January, we decided to do an emergency management Jeopardy, which was pretty fun. We had a couple cities, Ocean Shores and Montesano were definitely, they were duking it out.
They were. You felt pity for me and gave me a water bottle.
Well, it's not, I mean, it's not their fault. They're loud and yelled and.
I know, I'm kinda like-
There's Mary Springer that's like, wait, Linda, like, cause we said you had to use your name or you had to use your city name or whatnot. And so a lot of times, even though she was in the front, a lot of times they were loud because those of you that know the fire agencies within those two cities, they're loud individuals. So, and I mean that in the most daring way. But no, it was fun. We had a good time.
As far as the sandbagging, we get the sandbags, are we getting those from you guys, or do we?
I believe that those are in the county, yeah,
and
the county
two-
shop.
Yeah, okay.
And we have them, you know,
Yeah,
at the shop.
yeah, if we need, tickets, we were, yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did all right this last flooding area, we had just a
Sue
couple.
was down
But-
filling up sandbags.
Yeah, I got to experience the making of them, yeah,
Yes.
it's,
Could you walk the next couple days?
well, there's definitely a problem with the ties. The ties are not
Right.
that great. So there's definitely a flaw in the, integrity of them, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Those, they could definitely have some improvement of a little better of a tying.
Right.
System going on there, because those things break off really easily, yeah. So that would be my only take from it, was that they weren't the easiest thing to tie, and then they don't stay tied, and then you lift it, and then half the sand comes out. So it was a bit challenging as far as that aspect of the sandbagging, yeah. Yeah, so if you got any pull in that design of it.
Like a patent right now.
Yeah, it could definitely use a little better, string
Yeah.
going on with it, yeah.
A lot of times we have, and I say this, the Corps of Engineers are great partners. We utilize, we talk to them a lot in the different aspects of all the, I guess, capabilities of the Corps of Engineers. But one of the things that we talk with them a lot is as we lead into storm season, they always send us an email about kind of, do you need sandbags? Because they've been really great in providing pallets of sandbags for agencies. I think I think it was last year, no, probably 2024. Some agencies were getting like 2 pallets worth of sandbags, and they're free of charge.
So the city could reach out and call the
Oh,
Corps
yeah,
and say.
and we send out, Carmen usually sends out, one in September, but usually sends out an email to all the agencies and asks if they need sandbags, what their status is. And in dire strait, the county always has we have a stockpile, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just
You're
want to
down it.
thank
I'm sure
you
you,
very much for coming and sharing all this information. Could I jot down your email address just so I can reach out with any other questions?
Sure.
Oh, and of course, it seems like it froze up right there. We'll have to get better internet connectivity in this room. Casey, if you're there, if you can hear me, maybe you could just get that and place it in the chat for me. Would that be all right? Or do you have a chat?
Is that I worked for LeMay's and I was on safety and our trucks were having a hard time getting around any of them streets.
Yeah.
And we talked with one of the commissioners from up there, she's passed away, as far as how that was put together and try to understand how a fire truck is going to have access to that. And again, another one they did the same thing is Oyhut Bay. It's not as bad as what Seabrook is as far as getting. So do you guys have any input in the planning process?
Yeah, that's a great question. Short answer, no. Additional answer is I've been working with Suresh, who is the planning director up at the county, and he is pretty good because he and I we share some concerns on exactly what you mentioned, not being able to get response vehicles in through alleys. I will say the proximity of the houses and some of the hazards they have underneath it makes me nervous. Every house in Seabrook has a 50-gallon propane tank under their deck. So from a hazard side, I do have some concerns over it. So working with Suresh, usually he lets me know if there's a new development that's on kind of the docket, and having a seat at the table to talk about emergency preparedness and what the plan is, especially when they are in Grays Harbor County jurisdiction. So I'm trying.
good, that's good to go.
Hey, sorry, my Zoom did freeze up again as you were giving the email address. If you wouldn't mind rattling that off again.
That's okay. It's H as in Hannah, last name Cleverly, CLEVERLY @graysharbor.us. You can also find my contact on the emergency management website. If you go, there's like a contact us or who are we kind of thing, there's an email button right there that'll link that email address.
Great, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Well, Hannah, thank you.
Very
I'm
welcome.
sure you would like to go home.
Baseball practice. So it begins. Well, thank you so much for having me,
Thank you.
and I think we got our list
Thank
of
you.
things.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Very much.
So we have a few minutes if anyone needs to take a break or stretch their legs.
We'll go ahead and pause our video and mute for just a moment until we come back.
We've got 9 minutes, 8 minutes.
Animals call.
Chief Green, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
Citizens are joining us online this evening.
6. Aside from our from Councilmember Wynn.
And is, let's see, is, Attorney, could you reach out to him, he wanted to be on. So in attendance tonight, we have Chief Green and Commander Timmons from the Aberdeen Police Department. And we will check with Chris, as he said he would be joining. And so, Clerk Rowe, will you do roll call, please?
Yes, Councilmember Skinner,
Present.
Councilmember Wynn,
Here.
Councilmember Spargo,
Here?
Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Darcy,
Here,
all are present.
Thank you. Okay. Opposed? Okay. Moving forward. Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Councilman Skinner moves to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Councilman Davis seconds.
Is there any discussion?
yes, there is. We have a correction on the meeting minutes of the location. It still had the fire hall, so
Hearing none. Council comments. Council members, are there any comments at this time?
Member Davis, I think we all probably received an email from a gentleman about the public comment period for the Cosmo Mill. And I'm curious if we could add that, or if we can add that for this.
We won't be adding that to discussion tonight. I think we did receive that, everyone, so you had the opportunity to reply, and I replied on behalf of the city. Okay. So, is there any other comments at this time?
I just wanted to note quickly, I did receive your response to that citizen, Mayor, but I don't think that I received the original. And I didn't get a carbon copy of that in your reply either. So I actually did not see what that was in reference to.
I looked at the email, and he had sent it out to all of the council members, I think it was not, about 5 days ago.
it was
Douglas.
Monday.
Monday,
Yes.
Douglas
Yeah.
Wrigley.
Yeah.
Yours.
Yeah.
I don't seem to have received that. I'm wondering if
And-
maybe my address was typoed or.
I'm looking at it and it's, Council 1, or Council 2, he has all the council members on it.
We can forward that
One of
to
us
you.
can send it to him.
Yeah, we can forward
Yeah,
it to you.
that's, yeah, I don't know what exactly happened there, but if someone could forward it to me, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
And this is something that we would discuss before we brought this up at the table with the attorney, if we were going to, as a group, as a council group, to bring it before attorney. So we will table that and can have So at that time, that was council comment. Okay. Okay, committee report, auditing committee.
Yes, I looked over the vouchers for January today, or yesterday, and everything looked as it should.
Okay, so for the finance, moving forward, this agenda has always had the auditing finance. Approval on this, to
Exactly,
move
right.
forward on this. So, next we're moving on to parks.
We recently had our meeting, slow process, but hope we are working our way at it. That's all we really got to report at this time.
Okay, next, public, Jeremy, did you have anything to report from the parks meeting? Councilman Nguyen?
We had a pretty substantial dive into the comprehensive parks plan. We're starting the process of revising that and just going through section by section. It's about a 100-page document in total, and so we're just trying to update what we can, and then in the near future we'll be putting together a survey for citizens so that all the citizens of Cosmopolis can have input into the future of the parks plan. So look forward to that. We also had a pretty robust discussion about an effort to revive the community garden in Makarenko Park and what kind of the next steps for that would be. So I think we had some really productive discussions and more to come.
Councilman Nguyen? Moving on to public safety.
You want to do it, Steve, or want me to, on your minutes?
I can be, we did meet, public safety, a nice meeting, the bulk of the information I'd just defer to the chief's reports that are coming later. I will say that the level of information that we're getting from the department is impeccable. Thank you. The biggest issue in the reports was the adding the speed limit to the signs. It's been, it really does bring up awareness, and that there's maybe the opportunity to get a couple more cameras. One thing that Chief Green pointed out is that we can download information from these cameras, so it gives us high speeds, the average speeds, it gives us the traffic and peak traffic times, which is interesting information for us. And they're also somewhat portable in that we could take them some other areas of the town if we put cameras. And there's no current flock cameras in Cosmopolis, but there are 8 in operation around Aberdeen, Hoquiam, and definitely a useful investigative tool for law enforcement in the area. And so that's something I think that the council, that's something that general consensus was, it would be nice to look into that. That's about the only thing I would add. Everything else is in the chief's reports.
Okay, moving on to works.
Yeah, we had a meeting, Donnie, and so things that were brought up was around the vandalism. So we had some vandalism that was brought up in past council meeting, and so we have had repairs done with the vent on the upper park bathroom has been fixed. The bollards that were ripped out of the parking lot are going to be reinstalled more robustly, so to speak, in the way so they were easy targets. The graffiti that is on the wall will be taken care of when the weather is permitting on that one, so that it stays, so the paint stays on. There's gonna be locks, that will be put on the electrical panels down at the gazebo.
That did happen.
Oh, it did happen. Oh, good, okay, yeah. And then the lights at the gazebo are going to be replaced, by a private donation, so that will be taken care of. So it'll be lit up not only in the parking lot, but we will also have a light down there, so that will help with nighttime activity, hopefully to not have it. And then, so an overview, Donnie did a, inventory of the signs that we have available, because we have quite a few speed signs and stop signs that need to be replaced and cleaned. So he did find some in-house and did some replacement, I think by the school. You should have noticed, that those were done. And, he is getting ready for, speed monitoring, which happened, so that's happened since we had our meeting. And he assisted in the, mounting of those. Let's see, Aberdeen, yes, so Aberdeen, Bradley, a loaner 250-gallon water tank that will enable Donnie to be able to do a mobile pressure washing of the street signs. So I know there's quite a few that are pretty scrungy because they're underneath the trees, and so they kind of get all that green mossy stuff on them and stuff. So he will be taking use of that to start washing some signs. The main pump station is, he is putting together a priority list of what needs to be repaired and what kind of cost that is going to be looking at for that. And there's been a few instances when the levels go up that he's had to do some manual lifting of stuff. So he's working on that priority list there. And the roof checks, oh, that was the cemetery, yeah, the cemetery, he's making sure that the tarp is staying on there until we're able to get the grant for the roof to be fixed on the cemetery house up there. Yeah. So that was that.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to city official reports. Tonight, I'd like to introduce, I think most of you have met our new clerk treasurer, Jamie Vineyard, and welcome.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. And so, Jamie, if you would, your report, please.
Yeah, so I did include a staff report. Do you want me just to?
However you'd like to do it, you can read
Has
it.
everybody had a chance to review the staff report that I included?
I would probably, for the audience.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and the citizens of Cosmopolis. As your new interim clerk treasurer, I'm delighted to have met those of you that I have had the pleasure of meeting in the short time that I've spent here. I think it's been about 2 weeks so far. I look forward to meeting every one of you as I'm provided the opportunity. I have several years of municipal and government experience, other small cities and some government agencies that I've been with, in addition to 15 years of payroll and accounting on the private side of business. My passion for public service and ethical responsibility is deeply rooted through these employment experiences, and I'm excited to learn the history of Cosmopolis and offer my support, energy, and expertise to help move the city forward. I had to review the interlocal agreement for law enforcement with the city of Aberdeen. With that agreement, it was approved and negotiated between the city of Cosmopolis, Mayor Springer, and the city police chief Green for the transfer in ownership of the remaining police vehicles that are currently in our back parking lot here, in exchange for compensation to be applied as equivalent payment for one of the upcoming monthly payments that we have due for police services. Attached also is documents furthering that detail. There is also a proposed transfer of training equipment for additional compensation that has yet to be executed. This week, we did gain an annual savings $2,000 by the cancellation of some monthly services, devices that were associated to the police department. So we are starting to kind of wrap those things up and get them canceled out. So that will be, savings to the city. We will remain vigilant in all of our savings and recovery opportunities to best support the city of Cosmopolis. I have quickly been able to identify many other areas that are going to allow for room for improvement just in the daily operations of our internal processes. We'll assist the staff in being proactive against compliance and audit findings. That is a topic of conversation and seems to be a concern and a priority that will, be at the top of the list. I do look forward to being a part of the team. We are eager and dedicated to the reorganization, improving and streamlining the processes to be more efficient and productive for the citizens of Cosmopolis. I strive to keep an open door policy. I welcome your comments and communication. If you have questions I can assist with, or you want to introduce yourself and, get to know me a little bit, I would love to hear from you. So any questions that you have, I'm here to help.
I just inform the rest of council that if you don't see her light on, that doesn't mean she's not there.
This is true.
I walked by and she's got her head in her computer screens looking at them and, oh, you are here. Yeah, I keep the light off because she's light sensitive. And so don't think that, oh, well, she must not be here today.
Yep. Doors open, I'm here.
So you're- Head down and work it.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to the Aberdeen Police Chief Report, Chief Green.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a couple items in your agenda packet tonight. As the clerk treasurer just mentioned, we made an offer on the 3 police vehicles for our contract that we had executed a couple months ago. And hopefully the mayor finds that that value is acceptable and we can take them off your payroll and transfer them out. There's a little bit of work that needs to be done on each one of those vehicles, but we just think they still have some life in them. We also asked to purchase some simulation training tools, version handguns, rifles, and then ammunition that goes out, as well as some bean bags, stabilizing rounds, and that totals $6,062.50. That's definitely better pricing without going to a gun dealer trying to sell this thing back. We also took possession of all your evidence and your police records on the 4th, so we have those now, so if anybody needs any police reports, the Aberdeen Police Department and request those from us. Your court still keeps anything that's court related, so any documents for any reason or any cases that are still in progress, are going to be or a citation or something like that, you can go to court, all the other documents you take to us. And I included in our report kind of a call statistics table for you to kind of get an idea and look at. So this is very similar to what we do with the city of Aberdeen too. Just kind of gives you a heads up on some of the bigger calls we've been to and kind of an idea how many traffic stops and things like that. We've arrested 2 people in the last 2 months, both for traffic, driving while suspended stuff. And then, as I mentioned, public safety meeting, if there's anything that you would like us to see and track with more details, we're going to do that too. You just let me know what you're kind of thinking of. And thanks to the public safety committee meeting, we're going to move that a little bit before the council meeting, so I'll get a chance to bounce things off that group. And anything that doesn't get covered there, we can bring to the council meeting. But I want to make sure that you guys have that opportunity to see any of the data that you want, just little stuff. Our VIPs, you've probably seen them out driving around. It takes them about an hour and a half to cover the entire city. They've been out several nights a week. We really appreciate all the work they do. I give you an idea. They contribute 159 hours during January between Aberdeen and Cosmopolis. So I think the months probably looks like they're tracking a little bit more than that. So they do awesome work for us. We're very, very appreciative of what they're doing. And Silver big number 5. Is going to go to them, so that'll give them a little more room too. They're kind of tight in that little car that we got from 5 Star. Their box is still available too, so if you know somebody who has some mobility issues or would otherwise benefit from getting a lockbox, please make sure you reach out to us and let us know. Some people we have found, we had a community meeting on the 2nd of February to talk about some of the police stuff, and we have found there's a decent amount of population that doesn't do the internet, doesn't have that capability, so just let us know. If you give us a name and an address or a phone number, we can reach out to them and get those boxes put on there. And we're also doing it outside of Aberdeen and Cosmopolis, so if there's somewhere else out in the county we could box. they're free of charge, our volunteers will come put it in for you. And then they enter that combination with our Grace Harbor 911 dispatch center. So if there's an emergency in the middle of the night, you can push the key, get the key out, and then we don't have to worry about moving somebody's door. We're still taking applications. We have one vacant police officer position, so if you know anybody, we certainly appreciate a referral to try to get our last spot filled. As Councilmember Davis mentioned, their ARSP sign was installed last week. So yeah, these things can catch a tremendous amount of data. So we're going to give a couple months to let them collect some data, then we'll give you continuous reports what that looks like in a couple of months. So you can move it somewhere else and you all think there's a spot that could be problematic, then we might be able to do that. And then I think we also have the opportunity, Steve has some pretty good connections in the community with some grant opportunities. So as that comes forward, people come to us and say, hey, we might be able to have some money for some public safety things. Absolutely, I'd like to get another one of those, and certainly the fog camera.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Yeah, any questions?
Do you have the old speed thing that we had? That we
Looks like a
operated?
trailer or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
oh,
not,
oh.
it's not in this building.
You're right, yeah,
No,
but is
it's
that
not.
something you guys are gonna take possession of and use,
No,
or
problem with
is
those,
it outdated?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had one of those, and the circuit board that was on
Right,
it was cheaper to just buy a new one. The
Gotcha,
signs
yeah,
now, I mean,
yeah.
I think we paid an obscene amount of money for ours, we got
Yeah.
it for a grant in Aberdeen.
Yeah, I've seen the prices on those.
Yeah, now these are like
Yeah.
$3,200
Yeah.
each, which are much
Yeah.
better.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, good, we can
Yeah,
probably
we
just
couldn't
surplus
keep
that
batteries
thing.
charged on the one that we have.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
add it to the
These don't
surplus
seem like, I
list.
don't know if you guys are out driving around 4 or 5 in the morning, but I suspect they're probably doing a pretty good job of staying on 24/7, so.
Yeah, I just saw it go off, somebody drove by, yeah.
All right,
Cool.
Thank you. Fire Chief.
Good evening. Cosmopolis Fire has had 36 calls for the year 26 so far. For the month of February, we're at 15 calls as of today. The calls have ranged from aid and medical calls to hazmat to mutual aid response to Aberdeen and Hopewell infrastructure fires. We had a pretty good hazmat call on the street a couple weeks ago. We got a few calls about it, and it was pretty potent, and it ended up being about, we got a hold of feral gas, and they came down and mitigated the problem. But we were able to control it and get it resolved. So we're still going with calls and keeping up with them, and happy to serve the citizens. So the current certifications for our department, we have bunch of members that hold multiple certifications. It helps ensure that the community is getting. So our current certification numbers, we have 11 EMTs. We have 3 that are in EMT class right now, so I'll bring our numbers up once they complete that in May. We have 1 EMR that is certified right now, and he is also in the EMT program. So his certification will be upgraded to an EMT. And then there's an AFA, which is an advanced first aid. This individual that holds this certification is also in the EMT program, so he's gonna upgrade his certification to an EMT. Firefighter 1, which is the first level of fire academy. All your basics. We have 12 members with Firefighter 1, and we have 1 that's in academy to bring it up to 13 in May. We have 5 that are Firefighter 2, so that gets more into depth into more firefighting techniques, different extrication, that type of stuff. Academy, so you get all 3 of those certs in one, and we're at 12 for both of those. So, we have quite a few certifications, and a lot of these members are cross certifications, so they're certified in medical and fire. So current department members versus available positions, we are currently at 17 members with 8 open positions to fill. We currently have 1 potential volunteer right now that is completing their physical and drug screening exams before we do the on process. This individual we're very excited about because they are a EMT instructor, so they come with a wealth of knowledge. Has had 25 years in the EMS field, has taken a step back from working full-time in the EMS field to doing a different career, and is wanting to volunteer with us and help improve our department with our EMS and training and bettering all of our members. So that'll be a huge benefit to us. We have additional 2 applications that we'll be reviewing and bringing in the near future. And we're always taking in new volunteer applications. We review them quarterly. And then we bring them in for an interview and discuss the options, and if it's something that they like, then we move forward and start their volunteer career with us. Per the city ordinance 2.40.030 section D, we are able to hold up to 25 members on the fire department. The lowest amount of numbers we can go to for members is 15. We're in the middle. We're looking to get back up towards the 25. If we had some people leave, they just weren't wanting to do the career anymore, or they went to a full-time position from the volunteer. So the training and time that they've spent here has helped them progress into going a full-time career department. So it's constant rotation of people, but it's good getting them in here, getting the training. They're benefiting us in the city and benefiting themselves too. And then as
we're actually in Kazi itself.
I can look that up for you, but there's been a handful of structure fires that are going out of the city for.
Yeah, it'd be good to like kind of have that broken down there the next time, have Kazi and then, thank you.
So at this time, we would normally have the building official here. One of the things that we've looked at, Mr. Seedor will be in attendance when there is actually business to discuss to the agenda, which involves permit enforcement moving forward. As he is part-time and has limited hours, so we want to make sure that we're using his hours efficiently, and when we need to have him on the agenda, he will be here at that time. Okay, mayor's report. Just wanted to let you know there is maintenance happening at McArinkle Park on the water tower. So if you pull into the big parking lot up there, you see some machinery. Checking out the park this weekend. It looked like it was a large power unit that was parked up there. They are working on that water tower. It needs to be completely redone and not redone, but make sure it's up to standards. So the other thing, there were concerns or complaints about work trucks, contractors on the end of Franklin Drive, at the gate at the end of Franklin Drive. I called if you don't know, on the other side of that gate, that all belongs to, it's privately owned, is in Aberdeen. That property has been sold to the Aberdeen School District. They are undergoing construction up there for a new school to get it out of the tsunami zone. And so part of that was, I spoke with the superintendent on that, because it is on Cosmopolis property with a new gate, a new lock on it. So they were unaware and assured me they would not be up there, because they did have some large equipment, tight residential zone. So You may notice in Macarengo Park, we did get the insurance issue resolved for the firefighter museum up there. And so I'm happy to report we're able to move forward on that. At this time, that is a city-owned building. We do have we have developed with the volunteer fire department. It has been taking mediation and the new work and all the volunteers will come back to the table, we'll review the contract, and that contract will be hopefully signed. And then it'll be exciting to have that museum up and running. And that's what it is. It's a museum. It's not going to be for personal use or any other type of use. It is a museum that really honors the history of a fallen firefighter, Dennis York. And there's a lot of really amazing things. It's going to be an asset for everybody in the community. So you will see that there'll be work done. The volunteers went up there and cleaned everything out here, I think it was a week or so ago. And so they're working on mitigation, is starting on the inside, and after the mitigation is done on the inside, then the roof will be taken care of.
Mayor, may I make a clarification?
Yes.
It is engine company number one, the past, not our volunteer fire department as of now. Are not new, but it is the older group of what we used to have.
Right, so honoring our past history with the engine company number one, and, the museum at that time that they did construct. And so, as I said, it's going to be exciting to have that as part of the city and the history moving forward. Thank you for that clarification. As I have said a couple of times, we did send out when we tried to really look at ways how we communicate and get information out to citizens. We have a very open door policy. We started one of the things that I just felt like we're not getting to everyone that we need to reach. Not everybody has Facebook. Not everybody has the technology skills. So with that said, we are sending out a monthly letter. As I said, we had a very good response to that. And important information and updates will be going out on that. And one of the things, and that goes out with the water bills. And so one of the things that we also are going for I've applied with the state and federal help me out here, surplus. And so we are going to be able to get a few items that we need here at City Hall that wasn't budgeted for. So what we will be able to do, we're going to get a long computer table on this wall and see if we can get donations or get some computers in here to help that more mature generation of people that don't have those technology skills and come in here, see how they get online for their water bills or how they might want to join to the CCC group or just that type of thing. But really, and also we'll have a day that will also provide the council meetings and budget meetings. So really having information that will be in the newsletter that's going out. So I really believe we will be touching everybody in the city. So I'm excited about that. So we are moving on to new business at this time. There's no voting at this time. And currently I have a lot of items on here. Tonight we will be discussing and looking at the clerk treasurer step movement. I'm asking council to approve the increase in salary to step B for Jamie Vineyard. Letter from our CPA. There is information about the steps, and it's also in the citizens packet. There is also a comparison regarding other cities. Jamie comes with us with a, as 15 years in accounting and all of that, 5 years or more in municipalities. So as a mayor, I can tell you, when we put out for a clerk treasurer, and Councilman Skinner can attest to it, we went through several applicants. I was really thinking we were not going to get one, and then we did have a person who applied for that position, did come with a very good resume in accounting, all of that. It became clear that this position really, someone with the knowledge and experience in municipalities, if we are really going to stay on track, make sure that we're meeting the requirements of the city, and that we are doing everything so when the audit season comes around, that we will hopefully have some clean audits. On the back of the letter from Tara Dunford, that explained why she would suggest moving her up. And so why didn't we start Jamie at this step? Tara, knowing that really trying to follow procedures and protocol, develop a salary schedule. And so anyone we bring in starts on the first level. But then we go before the council to get confirmation to bring that person up to the appropriate step based on their qualifications. So on the back of the letter from Tara, you will notice that where we've come from. We used to have a city administrator. That salary was $173,939. Myself as a mayor and city administrator, my salary is $7,992. So that's a saving of $666 and $140. Yeah. So it's a substantial saving, and it's close to 50 hours a week. If you move on to, we used to have a finance director. That salary was $134,453. When we brought our clerk treasurer in, prior to Jamie, who had accounting experience and education in that area, her salary was $86,500. I was working a 40-hour week at that time, but as I said, we realized as a team, as a city, that we really were lacking the experience that the city needed to move it forward and be accountable in a way that we could make sure that we were keeping the city operating lean and meeting all the requirements. So now at the bottom, you will see the clerk treasurer, and it's proposed that she is going to be working 32 hours a week, and this is her medical, $8,020. And then on the next page, if you will look at the Washington statewide comparable, you can see we're right in the ballpark to where she should be. So, is there any questions on this at this time? We won't take action, but if you have any questions at this time.
What does the Washington State Department of Licensing, what does that enable you to do? You have under.
Oh, for the,
That's, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Goes into that, gotcha, okay.
Is the pay step retroactive from the first hire date?
That's a good day. Good question. I don't know. I think that would be a question for Tara. Jamie, could you reflect on that?
We can
it's
actually
just to be discussed. I mean, it wasn't anything that we talked. I would be okay with it either way.
Okay. Any other questions? I think you can see by the numbers that we've made a huge change and impact to the city in savings, the question has been out there, what happens, you're not going to continue to do all of this, and I'm not. I would love to continue to be mayor for another 4 years down the road. However, am I going to be the city administrator another 4 years down the road? No, it's a lot. In this week, I've cleaned off my desk by taking a number of stacks and files to Jamie when she smiled, and I feel like I can catch my breath. Moving forward, as we think about finances and having the right person in this position, it is crucial. And that person can be trained to be a CFO, much like Montesano. And that is my vision for the city. So making sure that we have the person in that position that can move forward with the city, grow with the city, get the training to move to a CFO position to oversee the administrative part of this city. The city can never be administrator and a finance director. As you can see, those numbers are unrealistic, and we're unrealistic for this city. So with that, we'll move on to the next item if there's no other questions or comments. Okay. Okay. Next item is the yellow fire engine. I'm asking that the council surplus this. As we move forward, we're going to be looking at surplusing many items for the city. We want to make sure that we're good guardians of the finances of the city, and we have to look at what is really needed within the city. So I'm asking that the council approve the surplus of the yellow fire engine as it is out of compliance. Serve no benefit to the city and keeping it financially, keeping engines in-house. Chief, I'm going to ask you to speak to this at this time in case the council has any questions on it.
Okay. So the thoughts behind the surplus of the engine is the age of the truck, the cost of maintenance to get it back into operation. We're still paying insurance on it even though it's not being used. And it is out of compliance with the NFPA regulations. With it, there's leaks, that's a cost. We've got no equipment on it, it's completely bare, so that's a major cost issue. If we were to outfit the apparatus with fire hose, nozzles, all the needed tooling to have that an operational truck. We have two other engines that are sitting there that are fully equipped, and they hold an actual rating for the department, to where this one does not hold a rating at all for the insurance bureau. There has been no pump on it in years, so that's with it sitting, we could have a replacement of a pump. That's very costly. Batteries are dead in it, so that batteries would need to be replaced. That's a lower cost, but it's still a cost. There's been no maintenance done on it since it was taken out of service, so if it was to have an inspection done on it, who knows what the cost of that could be. There is a brake on the front end that hangs up, so that's another maintenance cost. And there's just not a need for 3 engines in our city. We're already covered by 2. Our main is a newer one that is our first out for every call, and then we have a older engine that is our second out and our backup for that call. Or for that. And like I said, it doesn't hold a rating for the department with the Washington State Rating Bureau. And if anybody doesn't know what the Washington State Rating Bureau is, that assists with the insurance premiums. So our department is rated at 6 right now, so that gives a certain reduction on your insurance premiums, to where Like if you're out in the county and you don't have all the tools in the city and the nicer equipment and stuff, you have a higher rating, so your insurance is gonna cost. That doesn't really play a whole lot of role in the insurance rating because of the age of it and it being out of compliance, we're not using it, and there's no. And the other compliance issue is the open rear cab. Being able to utilize the seats in the rear. This truck does not have an enclosed back, so there's 2 seats towards the rear that are fully open. It is not legal to ride back there, even though there's seat belts. It has to be enclosed for any firefighter, any personnel, or anybody to be using that. So there's a decent list of reasons why it's not a suitable engine for us to use as a fire department. It'd be a great asset for historical. It's a great engine. It's pinstriped. It's special Cosby painted. It's a beautiful engine. It's still in condition, paint wise and everything. But there's just no use of it for fire department or the city.
Okay, thank you. And one of the things I'm doing is I work with our insurance company through AWC, and these were a list of things that he looked at that also recommended. You know, we have to be good stewards of the city's financials. Thank you.
Do we
So-
know like what sort of value it holds as far as, when we put it up for auction or anything?
I do not.
Not, okay.
Yeah, can I also
And
ask you,
the person,
you mentioned some potential historical value. Oh, hang on, I can see that the Zoom is freezing up. Is this something that has any potential value for the fire museum?
I can't speak to that, but I will speak to that we have to be good stewards. And while it does have sentimental reason, we have to look at how we are budgeting, what resources we operate going forward. And when you look at this and we do have the resources that we need for the fire department, each of us have an obligation to be good stewards moving the city forward financially.
Well, and I know we had conversations in previous councils that they were looking for extra space in the garage to begin with, because they were looking to donate the old one that's in there. And so allow that room for them to have that they need. Yeah, and I would imagine this engine can probably be used maybe in a smaller city, may be able to take it, or town that need maybe a forest fire situation or something, but yeah, and I'm pretty sure that there isn't any room up at the museum, as they already have an engine in there, and multiple other parts of engines.
And so it would be
so
sitting
It
outside.
would be outside, which would not be good for it.
And so with that said, as I said, we're registered with the federal and state surplus. They felt like we could probably get a decent amount for that. That someone else, some other municipality that has the kind of money, I don't know. But again, as a mayor, looking at our city moving forward, I just want you to really think about what your role is as council, about being stewards, moving this city forward. Any other comments, questions? Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be looking at, auction surplus, will be, I had to, as I'm looking at all equipment, I'd reached out to Donnie Fellow, our public works lead. I asked him about the public work whiteboard, to drive that all the time around the town when he was working, if we should put it up for surplus. He said, no one is driving that truck, it needs maintenance, it's not getting used. They have 2 pickups down now that the maintenance has been taken care of and continue to be taken care of. He said this would be you know, a good thing to surplus, and get some funds back into the city. Any questions about that? Okay, next, item 4. Appointed him, and so as we get ready for action this evening, I would like to ask the council for that confirmation when we move forward. Okay, are there any public comments at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 11, new business council action. Is there a motion to approve the clerk treasurer's step placement?
Councilmember Davis would like to approve the step placement retroactive to the hire date.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Councilman Spargo seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion so passed. Item number 2, is there a motion to approve the surplus of the yellow fire engine?
Council Darcy moves to surplus the yellow fire engine.
Councilman Davis seconds.
All those in favor?
Discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, discussion.
Then we do the next.
Thank you. Discussion?
I'd just say that these items do age out, and keeping up on the maintenance, especially if it hasn't been done routinely over the last couple of years, it is difficult to overcome that. And as far as the value of those things, it's kind of a market deal. There may be somebody in California that'd love to have that truck, and Ladish and everything else. However, I wouldn't get your hopes up. They're worth a couple $1,000, as they said.
I know a lot of people like to just have one to have one. Yeah.
Don't run with that.
Yeah.
Is there any other discussion this evening? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All those opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve of the yellow fire engine, Ford F-150.
Councilmember Davis, so moves.
Councilman Skinner seconds.
Is there any discussion?
Same verbiage.
Maybe we want to give it to Joe?
Yeah, Donnie, yeah, Donnie let me know that there was multiple things wrong with it that were
You
gonna
might want
cost, and it's
put a bid.
aged itself out too as
Right.
well, yeah.
And as I said, Donnie's done an excellent job keeping the maintenance up on the 2 trucks.
Yes, the
that
other
we
two,
have.
we have spent a good chunk of money in the past couple of years on the other two, so,
Keeping them
yeah,
running.
keeping them going.
Where are we surplusing these? Where are we
So-
putting on the internet or?
No, the state and federal surplus.
Yeah, the gov.
Yes.
Law or something like that, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I have the contact information, so if you
Definitely.
want to come in and get that
Just, yeah, I
information.
absolutely do.
These 2 vehicles will join the ambulance and the old Tahoe.
Yes,
Tough Tahoe,
yes.
And we don't have those yet registered, the old Tahoe and the ambulance yet. But, so we can do these all together.
It will be, they've asked me to take pictures, give all the information.
Yes.
They actually will come down and take them. We have a number of items that we will be surplusing from the police department. As you all know, we didn't buy anything new for this city hall. We were donated items, whatever. So some of the things over there are have been well used items. So we'll take pictures, and what is really nice, they'll come down, they'll pick it up, and we won't have to deliver any of it.
Good.
And we just get a check in the mail.
We get the check in the mail, so that's right.
One other, the police car that was in the accident, Chief Lehman accident, that vehicle was totaled. Have we been compensated already for that vehicle?
Yes.
Thank you.
That happened quite quickly. Yeah,
Good.
it's been compensated and it's in the bank. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Councilmember Green.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion so passed to surplus the white Ford. Item 4, is there a motion to confirm the appointment of Councilman Davis to the Public Safety Committee?
This, I guess I should have brought it up in discussion prior. We didn't vote on anybody joining any committee or assigned committee positions 2 years ago. We didn't approve anyone's appointment. You appoint who you decide to put on the different committees, and that's where we were.
I think if we go back and look at that, so moving forward at this time, is there a motion to confirm Mr. Davis to the Public Safety Committee?
I'll move to appoint him, yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion,
No discussion.
okay? Any discussion?
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome to the Public Safety Committee. Okay. Kind of a long agenda tonight. At this time, public comments. Are there public comments? Okay. Hearing none, council comments.
I'm gonna make one last one. I know everybody wants to go home, but I'm sitting here being able to view that radar camera, and it is amazing.
Yeah?
It's amazing watching it drop from 34, 30, and about the time they get down here half a block, they're 30. I will say that they do their job. They
do.
do their job. Awareness.
Even for locals.
We're very appreciative. Okay. Any other council comments at this time?
I'm gonna kind of go back and implore the council to consider moving to 2 council meetings a month. I feel like the level of oversight and the level of work that needs to move forward, I think it's, during discussions, we find that 30 days a month is a long time for information to sit, and we're not really current with happenings. And so I would like the council to consider back to 2 meetings a month, and I'd like to put that on the next agenda.
Okay, we can put that on the next agenda. And Mr. Councilman Davis, if there are concerns about things that we're not current with, could you please bring it to our attention and have a conversation with me? Okay, any other comments this evening? Okay, there'll be no other business for this meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Motion is adjourned at 8:00.